What's up? What's up? I'm Lycan, and this is the Lycan Report. So, HBO Max a while ago put up a movie called MoonFall, and honestly, you have the impression that this is going to be a natural disaster movie, because literally they're talking about the moon is going to collide with the earth. And when you think of movies like this, you also think of movies like Armageddon or Deep Impact and so forth. So already starting off this movie, you've got an interesting cast. You got Patrick Wilson. Patrick Wilson, if you think of movies like The Conjuring or Insidious, Halle Berry. Let's not even go to the amount of movies that she's been in. As well, you got John Bradley. And I have to admit, John Bradley, in this particular case, we weren't expecting, him to do such a stellar performance within this. If you've actually seen his previous work, you've seen like Game of Thrones or Traitors or Patient Zero. So it was actually an interesting lineup for this particular movie. A couple other big names are in there, like Donald Sutherland. He's in there, as well as let's see, what is his name? Michael Pena, or excuse me, Pena. For those who don't know who he is, if you've seen Ant-Man, basically the kind of retarded friend or the comic relief in Ant-Man, yeah, he was in this movie. Cast-wise, with MoonFall, as I said, you've got an interesting lineup of cast. You've got some, seasoned actors and actresses. You've got a couple new faces and so forth. And honestly, when it comes to the acting in this movie, these people actually did quite a good job. Like Halle Berry. There are moments in the movie where you'll literally shed a tear because it gets emotional, and you're sitting there like, oh my god, wow. Graphic wise, this movie was actually pretty daggone good. I literally have to say that the graphics, they pull you into the movie at times. But unfortunately, there's certain sequences in the movie I personally felt kind of fell off. And the reason why I say personally they kind of fell off, because you have this expectation, not this high expectation, but this expectation to see certain things. And as an example, in the movie, they have a tsunami in the movie. And it was kind of a letdown, is because of the fact that, when you see tsunamis in movies, you're not just expecting destruction, but you're expecting, the graphical or the camera, panning through the destruction and so forth. And I felt that the tsunami sequence was rushed, and it wasn't given the detail it should have been given. Plot wise, I would have to say that was the main thing that made this movie a bit of a letdown. And the reason why I say this is because of the fact that, as I said before, you start off the movie thinking that this is a natural disaster movie. And instead of having a natural disaster movie, you literally have a movie that twists, but not just, one twist and, situation change. You almost have three different twists. You have starting off with a natural disaster movie, then you think it's an alien invasion, and then it ends up being some level of the Matrix. It's like, wow, pick a direction, because half of the movie everybody has this impression of what's going on, and then you twist it, and that draws you in, but then it twists again, and it's like, so we're doing this now. And that's what caused, this particular movie to not per se be bad, but just either leave audiences confused or just sit there and be like, okay, I don't know if I want to watch this again, and honestly, from that aspect, you kind of figure, you want to give it its just due by watching the movie all the way through, but then at times, because these streaming apps, you don't actually necessarily have to watch it all through. You can pick it up later on, and that's what I ended up doing. I've watched a majority of the movie. It hit the first twist. I had to settle my mind and relax a little bit, and then come back to the movie. And when I saw the rest of the movie, I'm just like, yeah, they could have like started the plot off a whole lot sooner, because literally, it's a 2-hour movie, and already by the first hour, you're thinking on the level of Armageddon. Hey, natural disaster, let's do this, let's do that. Situation changes, and you have no idea where the direction is going. And when it comes to the Lycan report, 1 out of 5, I literally would give this movie a hard 3. The only things that really saved this movie were the actors and actresses, their performance. They gave stellar performances. Whoever worked on the special effects in this movie, for the most part, instead of certain intricate scenes like I mentioned, the tsunami and so forth, that was the only letdown in the movie. But the rest of the movie, was on point. And just the overall story, as I said, the twist will put a bad taste in your mouth. And not to say that this bad taste, couldn't be intriguing, but it's just a letdown, is because you have this impression for over half the movie, and then these twists come into play, and then twists again, and it's just like, well, why didn't you do like 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, to bring everything together? And it just didn't happen. But it is what it is, and I have to admit, when they first came about this with HBO Max, a lot of people were intrigued and drawn to it, and after watching it, I'm just like, would I watch this movie again? Not really, but, at least I had the experience.